Taiwan is the most amazing place in the world. If you want to travel there, it's so easy and it's so safe. And you will have an amazing experience. There's lots of little things that you want to know about Taiwan. There's lots of places to go. There's lots of people to see. Food there is super cheap, if you want it to be, or it can be nice and expensive. When you're in the city, I would say that probably 50% of people speak pretty good English. So if you're lost, then just ask somebody and they'll tell you if they don't speak English. Or maybe they'll try and talk with you. The people there are so nice and they would love to talk to you about anything. There's some really fun places I would go. See, I've only been to the northern part of Taiwan, but I would definitely go visit the Taipei Temple. Even if you can't go inside the temple, the chapel next door does really cool tours and has sisters there every day, a little bit like the temple in Utah, where you can just go and visit and learn a little bit about what happens at the beautiful place there. And that's in the heart of this city, in Taipei. Some other places kind of near Taipei, as you go up north, you get to a place called Jiufen, spelled Jiufen. And that is it's called an old street. And it's full of just ancient things and food and things to eat and things to buy and things to try. And it's all pretty cheap and it's just packed with people. There's buses that'll take you right there. So look that up. There's another old street with things to buy and do in a place called Danshui, spelled D-A-N-S-H-U-I, sometimes spelled T-A-M-S-U-I. And you can just take the MRT, which is kind of like the subway, all the way there. And there's some super fun stuff to do there. If you've ever heard of the places where you can like put your feet in the water and the little fish will eat all the dead skin off your feet and tickle your feet, you can do that there. It feels a little weird, but it's an awesome experience and you get lots of fun pictures out of it. And again, there's just so much to buy and to see and to do. You will never go hungry in Taiwan. Almost anywhere you go, there's vendors on the street that will sell you food, good food. If you like seafood, it's a really good place to go. If you're there in the summer, try the mangoes. If you're there in the fall, try the passion fruit. The fruit there is the best. So just ask someone what's in season or Google it. And the fruit is always so good. Places I like even more than the city are the coasts. I lived all the way up. I lived on the East Coast for a long time. One of my favorite places is called Hualien. Hualien, and that's the name of a city. And so it's a really big city. There's lots to buy. There's lots to see. Sometimes they have concerts and shows there. But my favorite is the waterfalls and the hikes. There's a place called Sandian Shui, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful hike. There's also a place called Mugumu, Muguyu. And it's a beautiful waterfall. And if you can find it, there's a little place that sells a lot of Aboriginal knives or traditional Aboriginal things that are really beautiful. There's some Aboriginals that run the shop there, and they're such good people. There's all the way, and then if you go farther south, there's a place called Taidong. There's a place called Sanshiantai, and it's just this big bridge, and it's got 3 big red arches that will take you out to an island, and it is awesome. I've heard. I've never been, but that's where a lot of people like to go. A lot of people like to bike the entirety of Taiwan, which starts in Geelong, which is another beautiful place. It's on the coast. In Taiwan, I would say definitely go visit a miao, which is a Buddhist temple. There's a lot to learn there. And there's a lot of really beautiful places. And there's some really big ones that have a lot of the traditional Buddhist gods statues there. And that's a really cool experience. If you're there, some things you have to try are chalo and bing. They're little tiny cakes filled with different things. They're sold on the side of the street. They also have famous beef noodle soup, which I've never eaten, but I've heard it's famous. So that must be something. The Vietnamese food there is so good. The fried rice, you can't get anything like it here. There's something there called a drawbing, and it's basically like this big thing of fried dough, and you can just buy it on the street. It's kind of like a pancake, but it's crispy like a croissant, and you just layer it with like cheese and basil and meat and whatever you want. And I'm gluten intolerant, but I ate one anyway, and it's the best decision ever. Make sure you thoroughly enjoyed the food while you're there. Yep, the trains and the subway will take you anywhere you want to go. And the people are so nice, and they will help you with anything you need. So have a great time in the most amazing place on earth.